Alright, welcome back. In light of the weather conditions up here in the northern hemisphere, and actually most of the United States this week, I'm going to talk a little bit about cold weather running and how to get out there, stay outside running even in the wintertime, even in the coldest weather, and not die of frostbite, hypothermia, etc., etc. So, stay tuned. We're coming up with that. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Like I said, today we're going to talk about some cold weather running. So in the United States, we have great ranges of weather, temperatures especially. Right now it's wintertime. It's February. Going to be March soon. And so there's parts of the country that are experiencing weather in the 60s and 70s. Don't have to worry about that as far as cold weather running. But there are also areas that are experiencing weather temperatures in the negative 50 degrees, negative 60 degree Fahrenheit range, which is unbelievable. I can't even imagine that. I've only ever run a couple times when it was negative anything, and it's very cold. Anyway, so where we are here in the northeast part of the United States is generally in the 40s-ish, sometimes in the 30s. So we get down into around 0 or 10, 15, 20 degrees Fahrenheit occasionally, but generally in the 30s and 40s. And today we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I wear when it's cold outside, especially now. We have snow on the road, we have ice on the road. Some people don't plow their sidewalks, and the streets sometimes don't get plowed. So, but I still like to get out there. I hate going on the treadmill. I've been successful in not having to run on the treadmill in a few years now because I just don't like running on the treadmill. So we're going to start top to bottom on what items I wear, and with some variations depending on the temperature and the conditions of what I usually wear. So starting on the top, headgear, of course, a hat. I generally wear a very light hat, and a link is available in the description of this video of this hat. So it's a very light, it's actually a helmet liner, basically is what it is, for like cycling or motorcycles, that kind of thing. But it's a very light material, and but it holds in heat very well. It wicks moisture, and that's a key thing here. And you'll see that the same theme coming along on all these items is layers, layers, layers. You don't have to be wearing one big jacket. Wear lots of layers to avoid having to do that, because you want your material to breathe. You want to get that, even though it's cold outside, you're still sweating, you're still perspiring, respirating, all that kind of stuff. And so you want to get the vapor off your body to keep your body as dry as possible, because moisture on your body is very uncomfortable. Anyway, so here's a hat that I generally wear. I have a gray one and I have a yellow one. So like I said, those are both in the description down below. We can get these things on Amazon. These are affiliate links, so they don't cost you anything, but they help the channel out a little bit, so I'll give that a shot. When it's colder out, I like to go to a little bit heavier hat. So here is a little bit heavier hat. It's a little bit thicker material. It's kind of like your standard cotton running hat. I don't like wearing cotton. I try to avoid cotton. The motto of this thing is "Cotton kills." So that's for my skiing and winter camping days. Is cotton kills. Avoid cotton at all costs. This I think is cotton. Let me look at the material real quick. It is acrylic. So this is actually acrylic. So some of these hats are acrylic. Some of these hats are cotton. But stay away from cotton. Acrylic is okay. It actually does keep some of the moisture away. I've worn this on several long cold runs, and it's been great. Another thing I like to wear is a neck gaiter. So here, another item that I like to wear. So this is actually goes around your neck. Obviously, it's like a big tube, and it's just one of these. They're pretty cheap. You can get them online, get them on Amazon. You can get different materials. You can make them out. You can get them out of fleece. This is some kind of synthetic material. It's pretty light, actually. You can I can see the camera through here. So it's pretty light, but when it's around your neck, when it's worn properly around your neck, It's kind of keeps all the heat in. A majority of the heat lost from your body is lost from your neck and from your head. So I try to keep my neck and head covered, and sometimes my face. So I actually do have a hat that has one of these that's part of the hat, and I like to wear it over my face, especially when it's cold and windy out, and it keeps my lips from freezing off. So anyway, that's another thing I like to wear. So the neck gaiter, so check that out. Now getting down to what I wear on my upper body. Again, I go in layers. So I might wear 4 or 5 different layers on my upper body, but they're thin layers, and again, synthetic materials, because cotton kills. So what I try to do is I try to layer up nicely. So I have here, it's a pair of socks. I have a compression shirt. I always wear compression shirts. This is a short sleeve compression shirt. You can get these. There's a link for these online down in my description below. This is an Under Armour one. The ones I have in my description are not Under Armour. They're more of a off-name brand, but they actually are very good and very similar to this one. So you're not paying like $30 for one shirt. In my link below, you can get them for like $10 each or less. So this is a tight-fitting compression shirt, short sleeve, and I usually wear that underneath of everything to help with, like I said, chafing. Because even though it's cold out, you're still sweating. Chafing is still an issue. So definitely wear that. So that is my first layer, short sleeve compression shirt. Then on top of that, I will wear a light long sleeve shirt. So here's a famous Boston shirt. This is a very light. This is made by Adidas. This is a very lightweight running shirt. Again, synthetic material, very light. I can see the camera through this shirt, and very light. I'll wear one of these. Sometimes I'll wear 2 of them. So if it's colder out, I will sometimes wear, what else do I have here? Okay, I will sometimes wear a very, very light wind jacket. So this is actually a cycling jacket. Again, very thin, very light. In fact, the back of it is perforated because this is a cycling jacket. But it's a very light jacket, zippers up nicely and everything. And it helps, it's just another layer to keep the warmth in and let the moisture out, and keep some of the wind out as well, because my big belly sometimes gets really cold out running. So again, a nice light long sleeve jacket. This one's from my old team sponsor, so you can see here. Then if it's really cold, or if I'm feeling like a big wussy, I will go with a heavier shirt, so a sweatshirt in fact. So what I have here is a big hooded sweatshirt. So as you can see here, big hooded sweatshirt. Obviously long sleeves. It's got pockets in it. Again, this is not cotton. This is a synthetic material. If you're going to wear a hooded sweatshirt, wear one that is a synthetic material. This is actually from Reebok, and this is it's actually very moisture wicking as well. And it's a little bit heavier. It's one of those days where I'm not running hard or that particularly long. I don't want to get cold, and yeah, so I'll wear something like this. Actually, it has a hood, so if it's that cold that just a hat is not going to do it for you, you actually put your hood on over top of your hat. So you have another outer layer, and this is usually the final layer for me. So to keep some of that warmth in. If it's precipitating in some way, we get a certain kind of mixture here. That's a curse word. I won't say it, but BS is what I call it. It's a mixture. When it was windy and when it was snowy and frozen and sleety the other day, I just wore a pair of trail shoes just to get a little bit extra grip. You don't necessarily have to go out and get all-weather shoes or Gore-Tex lined shoes for running in cold, snowy weather. Yeah, it's helpful, but a lot of times they don't allow, those types of shoes don't allow your feet to breathe enough, so you get sweaty feet and wet feet from inside the shoe and not from outside the shoe. So I do have some shoes that have a shell to them that do keep some of the water out. I would wear that if it was really, really wet, or if I was running some really wet trails. I would wear maybe some all-weather trail shoes. But generally for on the roads when it's just cold and not snow on the ground, I just wear a regular pair of road shoes. So So anyway, I hope that helps again a little bit today. I do want to make a reminder that the stuff that I've talked about today, this is for training runs. This is for slower runs. This is for going out and doing a 5, 10, 15, 20 mile easy run where your heart rate's not being elevated, you're not working too hard. Race situation is completely different. Race situation, you dress for 20 degrees warmer than it really is, maybe 30 degrees warmer than it really is, and it's a totally different situation. When I race, it could be 30 degrees out, and I'll still be in shorts, singlet with a long sleeve shirt, and maybe a pair of gloves and a hat. I don't wear much for racing. This is for training runs where you're just trying to stay comfortable, you're just trying to get some miles in, you're just trying to enjoy the outside a little bit, even though it's nasty outside. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Leave any comments below. What do you guys wear in the wintertime, in the cold weather? Leave comments down below. I'm interested in knowing. Maybe there's some things I could change on my outfits, on my arrangements. This seems to work for me. This is what I go with, but I'd like to hear from you. Anyway, leave a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, peace. Rain, sleet, snow all at the same time. And when we get that, sometimes if we're having that while we're out running, I will wear a very, very, very light waterproof shell. So to help, just to keep the moisture from getting wicked back in, because if moisture wicks out, it can also absorb rainwater and sleet and snow and all that kind of stuff. So I sometimes will wear a light shell. This little light jacket here actually is pretty good at keeping the rain and snow off too. It's not waterproof or resistant, but it's good enough for very light amounts of rain. All right, onto my hands. I wear the same pair of gloves I've been wearing for 5 years now, probably. These are a pair of Craft, just standard running gloves, again, synthetic material. These are pretty lightweight, they're pretty breathable. They're not waterproof or anything like that. They actually have a little reflective area on the back here, and I think I actually have a link for that too in the description below for these gloves. And they're reflective because I run at night and early in the morning a lot, and this helps with being more visible. So, but they are not waterproof. You can go with a glove that is more waterproof. This is my wife's glove, and it's very warm on the inside. It's like fleece lined, but it actually does have a kind of water resistant shell on it. It's got a different material than just a synthetic material for keeping some of the rain, snow, sleet, BS off your hands, especially if you have sensitive hands and your hands get cold. Some people get cold hands and they stay cold. So gloves or mittens. If it's that cold out, mittens. You can get running mittens actually to have fold down sleeves. I don't have a pair of them, but you can get wear mittens. Of course, you lose dexterity, so you can't like fiddle with your watch as much and grab things with mittens. But I never had a problem with just wearing gloves. So gloves it is. Now, for me, generally, I tend to overdress up top and underdress down below. So sometimes, even when it's cold out, I will just wear shorts because I want to have the mobility and the ability to move my legs. But regardless, I always wear a pair of compression shorts. Just like you wear a compression shirt up top, I always wear compression shorts down below. I do have a link in the description down below for compression shorts as well. These are just standard off Amazon, cheap. Synthetic, of course, compression shorts. You don't have to get anything great, just something to help protect you. You can get some that have like wind stopper in the crotch area for keeping your bits and stuff warm. But these are just standard tights and also help prevent against chafing. And it's also layers. Key thing is layers, layers, layers. Then, if you don't want to wear shorts when it's cold outside, go with a pair of running tights. Again, these tend to be thin layer, but they give protection to your entire leg. These are a pair made by, I believe, Brooks, but it doesn't matter. You can get a pair of nice tights, and you get them in various thicknesses. You can get them really thin for like those cold spring days or fall days, but then you can get really thicker ones that actually have neoprene in them, like in the wetsuits, and they actually keep the wind off your legs more and the weather off you. one key thing you can try, instead of looking for running tights and spending lots of money on running tights, is look for cycling tights. So winter cycling tights that don't have a pad in the crotch. Like a lot of cycling shorts have a pad for when you're sitting on the saddle. But they do make cycling tights that do not have a pad in them, but they offer wind protection on the front of the legs. So if you're running in very cold and windy, wet weather, I'll sometimes do that. I have some pairs of cycling tights. I actually have some neoprene in them that keep the weather off of me. They're very heavy, and I would not wear them for a long run, but for a short run, 4 or 5 miles in like a downpour when it's 32.5 degrees Fahrenheit outside, I would wear them. So that's pretty much what I have going on downstairs, is tight shorts, long tights if I feel like it, and finally, almost finally, socks. So again, if your feet tend to be cold all the time and stay cold, wear thicker socks. Make sure you have room in your shoes for thicker socks. But I wear a pair of socks. These are actually a pair of Injiji socks that I'm going to be wearing today when I go out. And these are full crew length socks. They're a little bit thicker, they're a little bit warmer. I tend to stick with thinner socks because when you're running, your feet are always moving and they stay the warmest, for me at least. Again, personal preference of what you like to wear depending on what stays cold. So I tend to wear just thin regular running socks. Sometimes I'll wear thicker socks. Sometimes I'll wear knee socks, compression socks. Depends what you're in the mood for. Again, make sure they are running socks, synthetic, not cotton crew socks, because that is just about the worst thing you can do, is wear cotton socks and go out in the wet and cold and try to run. You will be blister city for sure. So don't ever do that. Cotton kills. Some people wear 2 layers of socks. I tend to not do that. Again, your feet are moving all the time while you're running, and they don't tend to get very cold. Now, the kind of shoes you can wear, it depends on the conditions. I didn't even bring any shoes here. I just wear my standard shoes. There's a pair of Hokas here that I've worn in very cold weather. A pair of Ultras over here that I've worn in very cold weather when it's not snowy out. The other day when it was snowing out and a little bit of ice and slush on the road, and I couldn't tell what was happening, I wore trail shoes just to get a little bit extra grip. You don't necessarily have to go out and get all-weather shoes or Gore-Tex lined shoes for running in cold, snowy weather. Yeah, it's helpful, but a lot of times they don't allow, those types of shoes don't allow your feet to breathe enough, so you get sweaty feet and wet feet from inside the shoe and not from outside the shoe. So I do have some shoes that have a shell to them that do keep some of the water out. I would wear that if it was really, really wet, or if I was running some really wet trails, I would wear maybe some all-weather trail shoes. But generally for on the roads when it's just cold and not snow on the ground, I just wear a regular pair of road shoes. So anyway, I hope that helps again a little bit today. I do want to make a reminder that the stuff that I've talked about today, this is for training runs. This is for slower runs. This is for going out and doing a 5, 10, 15, 20 mile easy run where your heart rate's not being elevated, you're not working too hard. Race situation is completely different. Race situation, you dress for 20 degrees warmer than it really is, maybe 30 degrees warmer than it really is, and it's a totally different situation. When I race, it could be 30 degrees out, and I'll still be in shorts, singlet with a long sleeve shirt, and maybe a pair of gloves and a hat. I don't wear much for racing. This is for training runs where you're just trying to stay comfortable, you're just trying to get some miles in, you're just trying to enjoy the outside a little bit, even though it's nasty outside. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Leave any comments below. What do you guys wear in the wintertime and in cold weather? Leave comments down below. I'm interested in knowing. Maybe there's some things I could change on my outfits, on my arrangements. This seems to work for me. This is what I go with, but I'd like to hear from you. Anyway, leave a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, peace.